Well, hello to myself because nobody else is here. Oh, we've got one. If you've landed on this page, you've landed on Let's Talk News. And I'm Leticia Romero, and I am your host on this day when nobody who uses Verizon is able to make cell phone calls. Um, ta-da! Modern technology. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, that's not a call. I didn't bother to turn my phone off because nothing was happening. Hi, Francine. Good to have you here. How many of you have Verizon out there, and how many of you have been in a phone call desert? I can't say that I am upset by it because it was kind of nice to just get things done today and not answer the phone 1,000 times because there's a lot of things going on and my phone constantly goes off. Hi, Kevin. Kevin, did I solve the two-thing problem? I hope so. Hi, Lucille. Good to see you and have you with us. Yeah, you too. Okay. So I just emailed everybody in my family and I said, okay, we're alive. Don't worry if you're trying to call me. And you know, I'm here. Hello, Gloria. Good to have you. But it was kind of cool, right? I mean, not to have the phone ringing constantly today. And what did you do in the phone call blackout? Um, thank God I have Spectrum as my carrier for my internet and my television. So I was able to, stay connected with the world. But there are some people who I know only have Verizon, and that was me in New York. I only had Verizon for my business, for my home, for my phone. Everything was Verizon. And I wonder what those people did. Me, big issue today, but was kind of peaceful, just scary if you needed 911. Yeah, well, that's the truth. It was scary. And, I don't know. Were the landlines out too? I don't have a landline. I don't think most people have a landline anymore. But some have kept their landlines. I'm just not sure. Do the landlines work anymore? They're not analog. I don't know if Verizon still supports analog. I think it's all digital now. So I don't know if the voice was only Verizon Wireless or if it was all voice. You couldn't get a lot of information out of them. The one place that I went to their website and, not a word about the blackout, but I went to X and on X they talked about it. This is why I still have a landline. Good. Does it work? I'm just interested to know. Is it a Verizon landline and did it work today? Just curious. Yes, okay. Yeah, very weird. Isn't it weird that this happened on the okay, landline work. This is I think it's kind of weird that this happened when Iran was making threats against Trump's life. Did you see that? Did everybody see that? Yeah, no info. Well, as all they said was they went down and that their engineers were working on it, but it's a nationwide outage. Um, so, all right, so Verizon landlines work. Digital doesn't. So maybe, just maybe, I've got to see if we can't do Verizon landlines. I don't know. I have the jacks and all those things, but I know like my mother has Spectrum Digital, and hers worked. But I'm just starting to wonder. I mean, especially since we're on a golf course and we're far away from everything, we have a big cell phone tower just up the road, but that's HTC's. So I don't know. I've got to think about this because we got to keep in touch. I have landline and it was out because it was Verizon. Oh, so the landline was out because it was Verizon. So maybe it would be smart to have two different carriers. I have a landline and I had service from Spectrum. Okay, Gloria. Well, I don't know if you saw it, but this is what is this ad is playing on Iranian TV, and it says this time the bullet won't miss. Um, so that's not a great thing. And if you can't make it out, that's the photo of Trump when there was the attempted assassination on his life. And that's playing on Iranian TV. So we're in it with Iran. I mean, and we're in it with Iran. And today we're going to kind of talk about why. Well, we can talk about it in a minute. We're going to talk about why Iran is irate and what's going on. And it has to do with Venezuela, and it has to do with Russia and China. And I think we all knew that because we've spoken about this in the past, that they were all tied together. And that Trump's move on Venezuela was going to crush Cuba, destroy Iran, bring China to heel, or to its knees anyway. Colombia was going to have problems. Yeah. So, yeah, coincidence. I wish I could believe in coincidences. I don't. I really don't. So, I don't know if we took it out so they can't communicate, or if they took it out. I don't think they took it out. I have to tell you, our military is really on the ball. I mean, really on the ball. You know, our spies are everything is, we are way above where we were just a year ago. Never mind, 3 years ago. Never mind even the Trump administration. Hello, Karen. How are you? 0 planes flying around Iran now. Yeah. So we've heard, and I have spectrum. See that I'm freezing up. Isn't that interesting? Okay, this is, I don't know. I said 0 planes flying around Iran now. I'm freezing up a little bit. I hope this is not spectrum going out. Probably not. What happened, I think, was I restarted my computer just to make sure that we didn't lose internet, and I may have just screwed with something. Okay, so I'm going to let this guy talk a little bit about Venezuela and its impact on Iran. Listen to this and tell me if you already knew this.
The bit that we're missing in this Venezuela story is Venezuela is an integral part of the Islamic regime's ability to coordinate terrorist groups like Hezbollah, or to build ballistic missiles, or to build drones.
Sorry, Tom, I'm so sorry. Just explain to me why that's the case.
So, as you may be aware, the Islamic regime in Iran has always had a problem with sanctions ever since the 1979 revolution. In fact, particularly since Operation Eagle Claw, when the Americans tried and failed to rescue those hostages in the US embassy. I think it was about 100 hostages. Forgive me, I'm going to get the number wrong. And the Americans imposed sanctions on Iran at the time, financial sanctions, and then other sanctions have grown up. Well, one of the ways that the Iranian government has got round those sanctions, or tried to get round those sanctions anyway, is by using shadow banking facilities through countries like Venezuela. Now, over the years, many of the others have dropped away. Syria, for example, has dropped away. Countries in the Middle East have stopped cooperating. But one country that continued to cooperate right up until the 3rd of January, and probably is still cooperating a bit even now, is Venezuela. So what we've seen out of Venezuela is we've seen drugs carried by Hezbollah taken across into Liberia, Sierra Leone, and then up into Europe as a way of making money. We've seen weapons parts designed in Iran, built in Venezuela, then smuggled through some of this shadow fleet back into Iran, assembled into ballistic missiles, sent over into Russia, fired over to kill Ukrainians, and indeed some of them have crossed the border into Poland. So we're seeing actually already action against the Iranian regime. We just don't recognize it, because Venezuela is a key player in the Iranian regime's government of terror and global network.
Amazing, huh? Amazing. How many of us knew that? How many? It's really hard to know anything because mainstream media doesn't report on real news anymore. And even most of the cable news shows don't report on real news anymore. You really do have to go to these independent news sources if you want to get information. But we knew it, right? We knew it because we knew Trump, and we know that Trump doesn't play. While they all want to talk about this, shooting in Minneapolis, which was, now it's looking by all accounts, I mean, he had internal bleeding. The thing is, what did Fry say, Jacob Fry? Oh, it was an injury that you could have gotten, when you're closing the refrigerator door. Let me just say this to you. I don't know how many of you have ever fought, or, as kids or as adults, I don't know, ever shot a gun, ever been in a dire situation where you had to think on your wits. And I've been in a couple, and the adrenaline, accidents, or even a rescue operation. My husband and I had to try and rescue a couple that drove off the road when we were coming back from Atlantic City, and we watched him. He fell asleep. It was clear he either had a heart attack, fell asleep at the wheel, and he went right off the road, right into a tree. And it was like, snap, what do you do? And we were tired ourselves, and your adrenaline goes. And this ICE officer clearly was running on adrenaline, because when she hit him, he said effing bitch. I mean, because that's what you do when you hurt yourself, get hurt, or somebody hurt you, right? You shout out, you make noise. And it turns out that he was actually harmed in this. The news only wants to talk about this. Why? Because there's the agenda at hand. The agenda is to keep us talking about these issues. And that's fine, because Trump, while they're talking about things that, executed, done, the operation executed, done, moving on, we're going to another state, investigation will happen, the facts will come out. The mainstream media and legacy media and the left media, and quite frankly, even Fox, they're not talking about the connection with Iran and Venezuela and why it's so important to the United States and what is going on, and how this Trump is disseminating a cesspool of drugs, terrorism, bombs, banking, secret banking, so many things that are pointed negatively at the United States. So interesting. Oh, look, we have our little troll. Trump, Vance, Elon, Bezos, they're all in the club dedicated to you never being in the club, despite your bowing to the status quo patriarchy, which makes zero sense based on your position in life. First of all, you don't know what my position in life is. You'll never know what my position in life is. Second off, tell yourself that, John. Tell yourself that. And it doesn't matter. You can have friends that are richer than you. You can have friends that are poorer than you. The thing is that what they're dedicated to is what I'm dedicated to. And a lot of the people on this channel is, and that is America. And if you are an American patriot, the things that Donald Trump is doing right now should be making you really proud, because we as a country have been pussified. We have been pussified, hyphenated, separated, and destroyed. And we were hanging on by a thread until Donald Trump came back. Hi, Sal. As you know, I'm a complete Trump supporter. However, I'm really getting tired of no one significant being held responsible for so many different criminal acts. Why aren't they? Well, I'm going to say to you that we have some problems, right? We can't get U.S. attorneys appointed, especially in certain districts, especially in the District of Columbia. We're having problems there. We are having problems with rhinos in the Senate who are not helping Trump out. We have 100% of the time legacy media and the global elitists and their puppets going after Trump. So, but specifically like Comey and Tish James and others, Hillary, those, we need these U.S. attorneys to be appointed, and our own Republicans are blocking them, Sal. But, that's why I say, forget Republicans and Democrats. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about patriots versus those who want to see America on its knees. And that's what we're coming down to. It's not Republicans and Democrats anymore. We have, who would have ever thought that John Fetterman would be the the voice of reason. Especially, I gave him such grief on this show, but he's become the voice of reason. So we have to be careful of who we alienate, and also be careful of who we hold close, because all Republicans are not equal. So that's the problem, Sal. That's a true problem. You can't hold people liable if you can't get them through the court system. And unlike Hillary, you can't just kill them, right? So, and we know she did. Okay, so that's the Venezuela bit. Now, the other bit that he's taken a little heat on is Greenland. So I thought that I would share with you a little history on Greenland for those of you who may not know. Some people from out of town, some people may know, but watch. It's only a couple minutes.
Just as the British had attacked Copenhagen as a preventative measure during the Napoleonic Wars, the Germans invaded Denmark and Norway to prevent their occupation by the French and the British. The Germans took over Denmark, and since Denmark had not declared war against the Germans, the German military was ordered to stand down. The Danish political and social institutions continued to work rather routinely until the end of the war. Just as the Germans had entered Denmark and Norway to dissuade the Allies, the British occupied the Faroe Islands to avoid a German takeover of the area. The British had also occupied Iceland, but turned it over to the then neutral Americans. Iceland became an independent republic in 1944. As far as Greenland was concerned, the Danish asked the neutral U.S. to defend the territory in 1941. Greenland achieved a greater sense of self-reliance during wartime, which was not allowed during the previous Danish rule. When the war concluded in 1945, Greenland was returned to Denmark. By this time, the Greenlanders had gained some exposure and complained to the Danish authorities about their trade monopoly. Sitting on the sidelines, the U.S. was watching this situation very closely. So, in 1946, they offered to buy Greenland from the Danes. Once again, Denmark refused the offer. In 1953, Greenland became an equal part of the Danish kingdom as the Danish constitution ended the island's colonial status. The island was termed an amt, or administrative division. The island was granted home rule as a part of a Self-Governance Act in 1979. Now, Greenland has assumed primary political and social responsibilities. However, foreign, defense, and security policies remain under the purview of the Danish government. Today, Greenland relies on Denmark for financial support, even though they handle their domestic matters internally. Some experts think that Greenland is not yet capable of ruling itself effectively without a helping hand from the Danes. America has maintained its presence in Greenland in the form of military air bases, and U.S. interest in the island has persisted. The United States has remained interested in buying Greenland. The latest offer came in 2019, when President Donald Trump publicly offered to buy Greenland from Denmark. In response to this, the Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said, "Greenland is not for sale. Greenland is not Danish. Greenland belongs to Greenland. I strongly hope this proposal is not meant seriously." The statement of the U.S. President also drew the ire of Greenland's Prime Minister, who said, "Greenland is not for sale and cannot be sold, but Greenland is open for trade and cooperation with other countries, including the United States."
So, Greenland, Truman, who people have said had one of the best military minds of this or last century, wanted to buy Greenland. And in fact, we were spending a lot of money defending Greenland, and we still have bases there today. So it's not ridiculous to think that we should offer to take Greenland and bring it under the U.S. banner. And right now, Greenland is playing games which I don't particularly care for. And, you can do that, right? When you think that you're all big and strong, because the U.S. is defending you. And we'll never go, and they know we'll never go, because if we leave them and Russia and China come in and take them, which they will, there will be no civil negotiation with them. They'll just take it over because look at what they did with Ukraine, right? And now we're actually seeing all the cards too between Russia and China. So if anybody says to you that Trump is an authoritarian, a despot, what else? Whatever they're saying he is, dictator, because he wants to control the world. No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to control the world, but he doesn't want Russia and China to do to the rest of the world what they did together with Ukraine. And, they've been creeping in. It's like, it's like those slimy little people, right? That go in and make deals behind your back, your friends. Yeah, right. Hi, Ramon. Ramon's in Whitestone, Queens. Oh, good. Say hello to Vicky Palladino for me. Nobody knows who they can trust, Sal. Hi, Margie. Good to have you. Hi, Kevin. Good to have you. Okay, so talk about big bad people. I want to show you the difference between somebody who thinks they're tough and somebody that really is tough. Watch this little clip. This is a patriot versus somebody who just thinks that he's tough because he's got his anti-patriots around him. Here we go.
Nobody likes you. What's it like to find a pedophile shit, bro? Take the blue first. All right. You put your own gun. What a fucking moron. Go. Come on, motherfucker. Hey, guys. Come on, motherfucker. Hey, guys.
Can anybody tell me why that guy went down like a sack of potatoes twice? I'm sure there's a a boxer, there's a female boxer in here that knows the answer. But yeah, so there was a lone patriot in there. Don't be fooled. Some of those flags were upside down, so they weren't all patriotic. But there was a lone patriot there, and that guy in the red jacket decided to mess with the wrong person, and learned. And to me, that's kind of what Russia and China, what Trump is showing Russia, China, Cuba, the whole, Iran, all those people that want harm to come to America. That's what Trump is showing. Now, this is somebody that should be really tough, but is an apologist for America. And in my opinion, as much as I hate to say it because I appreciate his service, he is what is wrong with a lot of America today and why we're having the issues we're having. This is the Portland police chief.
What I can say is there is an association with the two folks yesterday and TDA. I hesitated to even share this information initially because I'm very aware of the historic injustice of victim blaming, oftentimes portrayed by law enforcement, including this very agency that I've represented so proudly for so many years. And historically, we have not been quick to disclose the potential criminal history of it. I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
So he went into tears because he had to tell them that the shooting in Portland of the ICE, by the ICE officers whose car was being rammed by a man and his wife, that yes, indeed, ICE was correct that the man and the wife were part of Tren de Aragua. And it reduced him to tears that he had to tell the truth. What? And he's the chief. He's the chief of Portland. And maybe that's what now we have an understanding of why Portland is the way it is right now. Hello, Andrew Dorming. Thank you for having. We need more people like that, true American. Absolutely, we do. And we have a lot of them right here. And I just said to my husband today, I know we're old and we have a lot of fake parts, but I want to join the National Guard. DEI pussy, go home. Yeah, I mean, that apologizing, and that's the problem with America right now. Everybody's apologizing for America for being strong. Don't apologize for being strong. Don't apologize for being beautiful. Don't apologize for being white or black or Spanish or rich or a self-made person. Don't apologize for anything. Don't cry baby, hope his kids don't see this. Yeah, but apologetic, right? Apologizing for having to tell you the truth, having to tell you that Trump's ICE agents and the DHS and the information they were giving was correct. So I don't know how many people saw Jacob Fry this morning. He gave an interview to Fox, and the gaslighting was beyond, absolutely beyond. Thank goodness he was called out over and over again, and he was given all the people that ICE arrested, the murderers, rapists, child pornographers, and he still wouldn't move off of his talking point. He wouldn't admit that what the Trump administration was doing was right. They're all pretending that the reason that there's chaos is because Trump is trying to deport the illegal migrants. But that is not true. The reason there's chaos is because they won't cooperate with ICE. And it's their duty to cooperate with ICE. But I mean, they're cooperating in all the red states. I mean, Trump is in all the states. And in the red states, once they're arrested, they're handed right over to ICE. But in these sanctuary states, which are illegal, they're not only not cooperating, but they have a whole organization. And I think I posted it somewhere. CNN had an article about Good and how she was a board member for her kid's school and how they adopted this policy and were training people how to interfere with ICE actions. And CNN was gaslighting in its article. You have to read it. Go look at it. It's something like Renee Good's background or something like that. But I want to show you this before we end. I'm going to play this clip and tell me if you know. Well, you're going to know who it is. This is from the Obama administration, 2011.
This administration continued to oversee the deportation of 400,000 people a year.
As long as Congress gives us the money to deport 400,000 people a year, that's what the administration is going to do. That's our obligation under the law. We will be strategic about how we do it, and the number of those folks who are either criminals or recent arrivals will continue to go up. But yes, this is our obligation under the law. You have a community of 10 million, 11 million people living and working in the United States illegally. Some of these things are going to happen, even if the law is executed with perfection. There will be parents separated from their children. We don't have to like it. Congress passed a law, and Congress appropriates funds to implement that law, and the executive branch's job is to enforce it. The president can't say to the Congress, I'm not going to bother to enforce this particular law because these are really compelling people. That's not how democracy works.
How's that? We knew that here, right? Because I've told the story over and over again. You know, that Obama, I had to actually fight against the Obama administration when he actually tried to deport a woman away from her children who were born in the United States. But in that case, that woman was sold into sex slavery. And I thought she needed a better deal than she got because, you know, there was no due process. I mean, you know, she was a teenager. Her parents thought they were legitimately sending her to America. And that was when you could only have one kid in China. And instead, they really sold her into sex slavery. And when they were done with her, they released her, and she would never say anything bad about her parents. But she didn't know that her passport was going to get her barred from the United States forever. And Obama went after she registered with at the time it was called, I forget. I forget the name of it. It wasn't ICE and it wasn't DHS. It was something else. But she registered with them, and then Obama found her and tried to deport her on Valentine's Day, and we helped her because, you know, it wasn't her fault. You know, the parents thought they were doing the right thing. She thought they were doing the right thing. She was a victim, and you know, we thought that she should at least have the opportunity to apply. When I last heard that she was reapplying for citizenship, but she was still in the United States. Did anyone have problems with cell phone service today? Yes, we talked about that early on. Verizon is down. And Verizon is down just as Iran is making threats. And yeah, it's a lot of things going on. All right, so it's minute 40 over. I thank you all for being here. I hope that we got a little background on what Trump is doing, and I hope that we feel more confident, when we talk to people about his grander plan. And his grander plan is not to take over the world, but is not to let the world take over America. And milk, yes, milk. And to get you and me and everybody, and mostly children, to drink more whole milk. No more. What did the surgeon say? No more dishwater. So yeah, whole milk. I think it's coming back. I have one bar. Okay, well, that's good. So, all right, I will see you. What's today? Today's Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please share the show and get people to subscribe to the channel. You're doing a great job. We're almost to that 1,000 that we need to really explode. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you tomorrow.